love Bernie, but I've been thinking of like starting a site called Bernie Bud. Because it's really, it's like, and then they say what they say. So look, I want to go down, I'll go through three things to help you be able to speak to friends and family members as to why Bernie's the one. Okay? Okay, four things then. Yeah. Are you from Cleveland? Yeah. You know, when you're from Detroit, Cleveland is like, you know, I'll tell you, Cleveland changed their city slogan to, "We're not Detroit." That's so wrong. I just want to say, that's wrong. Okay, so here, let me just quickly give you quickly. What's the number one thing we all are going to vote for in November? We all have our issues, but what is the number one job of all of us? Dump Trump. Remove Donald Trump. And it's not saying that Trump's the cause of, we had all these problems before Trump. Trump didn't fall out of the sky. We know that those of us who are more involved know that we have two jobs, and they're equal. Number one, remove Trump. Number one, remove that which gave us Trump. That's got to go. Or else we're just going to end up with another Trump. So we have to change our political system the way that we allow money to control things. We have to change, we have to get rid of the electoral college. We have to fix this. And come on, we all know that in 330 million people, there's no way two political parties can represent the broad spectrum of political thought amongst 330 million people. And we know it's not right. So we're always trying to shoehorn our way in one way or the other. And there isn't going to be a Republican Party because they've self-immolated this year, and they're doing it right now on TV while we're here. Why they would destroy their own party is beyond me. Over him?
Yeah.
Wow. Loyal, yeah. It's not really him, is it? It's the money. But it's also the people that don't have the money are for it. He hasn't lost any of his support. You've seen the rallies. The base for him is still very strong. This is not a done deal for November. So, yes, the number one thing your friend says to you, your sister says to you, yeah, I like Bernie, but we got to beat Trump. And I don't know, Bernie, how's Bernie going to do this? You have to explain, and you have facts and science behind you. You look at any of the polls of the last month or so, every head-to-head poll, Trump versus Bernie, Trump versus Biden, Trump versus Warren. Bernie is ahead of every single Democrat when it comes to beating Trump. He beats Trump by the most percentage. The last one we saw on Sunday, by 9 points, he beats Trump. That's just a fact, and it's a consistent fact through all these polls. Biden is running these ads now saying we got to play it safe. You know, and I've met Biden a few times. He's a nice guy. But yeah, we don't need to play it safe right now, folks. We are in the darkest, most dangerous time that we've been in our lifetime, and some of us are old enough to have been through some pretty dark times. We have no choice but to remove him, and Bernie is the way to do it. Bernie is going to inspire and excite the young people and others to come out and vote, the people we need. This country, 70% of the people voting in November are either going to be female, people of color, or 18 to 35. That's 70% of the eligible electorate. We need our young people to be excited to come out and vote. We need people that feel the same way you felt. In Election Day 2008, when you woke up that morning and you were going to vote for the first African-American president that we never thought we'd see ever, right? Did we ever think we'd see that ever in our lifetime? And it happened. And you remember how excited you were? You remember how happy you were actually standing in line? You didn't care how long the line was? That's how it was that day. We need that enthusiasm and excitement on November 3rd. If we don't have it, we will lose. If we play it safe, if we go blando, we lose. When we take a risk, whether it's from a guy from Arkansas, and nobody, he wasn't part of the big national political scene, or a man who allowed and wanted his middle name on the ballot in 2008, Hussein. Barack Hussein. How many Democratic Party consultants begged him to take Hussein off the ballot? Don't do that. And can you call yourself Barry? Please, we got to win. We got to play it safe. And he says, no, I'm not playing it safe. Remember Joe the plumber? Said, you sound like you're going to redistribute the wealth. And he said, yeah, well, that's one way to put it. But yeah, basically, yeah. The rich should pay more in taxes. Yes, everybody has their criticisms of Obama. But let's remember why we voted for him in the first place. After 8 long years of George W. Bush, leading us into an illegal and immoral war, costing the lives of 4,800 of our young people and countless hundreds of thousands of Iraqis. And we were going to remove him and the Republicans by voting for a man whose middle name was Hussein. We did that. We did that. That's the great country we live in. We did that. So people can't be afraid and vote. We just got to play it safe. When we play it safe, we lose. When we go blendo, when we go mayonnaise, we lose. I'm sorry. I love but anybody who's old enough to remember 1984. Who was our candidate? You probably can't even remember. No. Mondale. Nice house. Nobody home. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I met him. He's a nice guy. But I'm just saying, 84, lose. 88, lose. 4, we won. But that's us. That's our side. When we win, we lose. Do you think any Republican would ever settle for the fact that if they won the popular vote, that there wouldn't be hell to pay and that they were going to be damn sure they were in the Oval Office? You know, the whole thing with Trump, Trump kept saying the election is going to be rigged. But that's because he was certain he'd win the popular vote because, any malignant narcissist would think they would. There's probably a few people in here who think, yes, if I ran, I think I could win the popular vote. So Trump thought he'd win the popular vote, but the Clintons and the Democrats, they would rig the Electoral College against him. And that's why he said, get ready, my Second Amendment people. Remember when he said that? He was threatening a violent reaction because he was afraid he was going to be rigged and he was going to lose. So when we go safe, 2004, again, right? The safe choice. We don't win. When you take a risk, when you vote for the person who's the real deal, and that's who Bernie is, that's how we win. You need to tell your friends and family that this is what's going to happen. And right now, the CNN poll this week came out fine, and Bernie's been number one with Latinos for like 5 months. Now he's number one amongst all non-white voters. Number one in the polls is Bernie Sanders. He's got the highest approval rating of any person running for office this year for the presidency of the United States. Highest approval rating. They did a poll in the 50 states of the 100 senators to see which senator is most beloved by the people of their state. Guess who's number one? Bernie Sanders.
Nobody likes him.
No. Nobody likes him. He is beloved by a wide swath of our American public amongst the voters. Please encourage your friends and family to know that the one true way to get rid of him is to you heard Trump in his own words this week. Look it up if you didn't listen to it. In his own voice, Lev and Igor, Lev taped Trump on the phone saying, I'm sure glad that Hillary didn't pick Bernie. That would have been a tough election. I don't think we would have made it. Listen to Trump in his own voice, just revealed a few days ago, saying that Bernie would have, he's afraid of Bernie. I guarantee you, if Bernie's the candidate, when he is the candidate, Trump will not debate. Trump will not debate. Bernie beats Trump. Bernie beats Trump. Bernie beats Trump. Bernie beats Trump. That's number one. Number two. I love Elizabeth Warren. I've had her in 2 of my movies. Known her for a long time. Good person, good soul. Made the right decision at age 47 to stop being a Republican, to stop voting. She had voted for Nixon and Reagan and the first Bush. And then, you know, the way we want all people to, we hold out our hand and they come. And that's a good thing. But this stuff, I mean, I'm not going to get into what happened a couple weeks ago. It's hurtful, and but I want to say this, because there's one thing I keep hearing at these campaign stops with people. Why didn't Bernie do more to help Hillary in 2016? And Basil, we can get people the web. You can go and look on the web, or look on the internet. And Hillary did a wonderful thing for Barack in 2008 when she lost the primaries to him. She went out and did 10 big rallies for Barack Obama across the country, from Nevada to Michigan to Florida. It was wonderful. And on that same page, you can see the rallies that Bernie did for Hillary in 2016. She did 10 for Barack. Bernie did 39 or 40 rallies for Hillary on his own across the country. On one day, on November 4th, 2016, he went from Davenport to Omaha all day long. He did 4 cities here, 4 days before the election. Hillary rallies with Bernie Sanders. 39 rallies. He went all out. I hate hearing this about, I don't know, you know, it's kind of like, and I tell people too, and I voted for Hillary in the general election, but it's like, look, quit, I mean, yes, the Russians, we're in worse shape probably this year than ever, because it won't just be propaganda, there's the potential for hacking. So we have to really hope that the job is being done to protect this election. But, you know, when I hear them say, oh, we lost because of the Russians, we lost because of Comey, we lost because Bernie didn't go out there for her. It's not true. And the first two are true things happened. Comey messed it up. And the Russians did try to affect the election. But even with all that hitting her, she won. She got the most votes. She got 3 million. The American people said, we want Hillary by 3 million votes. So don't talk to me about this sort of why. You know, if you want my why, it's why didn't you come to Michigan? Why didn't you come to Wisconsin? We love you. We wanted you there. We couldn't even get yard signs in Michigan. And I asked somebody, one of the leaders of the campaign after the election was over, of Hillary's campaign. I said, how come we couldn't get yard signs in Michigan? And he said, well, honestly, to tell you the truth, we thought in places like Michigan, if Trump voters saw too many Hillary signs as they go down the road every day, it would remind them how much they got to get out and vote, because they're so rabid about this. And we thought by putting Hillary signs up would trigger them. We lose when we're afraid. We lose when we run out of fear. If you're making up your mind for next Wednesday because you're afraid, Monday. But you know other decisions you've made in your life when you've made them out of fear. You know you should have left that job 2 years ago, but you were afraid with legitimate reasons. You needed the benefits. You needed this or that. You didn't know what the next job would be like. You didn't know if you'd get a job. So all the things in our life these decisions we make because we're scared. This is not the moment to be scared. This is the moment to be fierce and fearless. This is the week that Iowa has to rise above it all and say, we're going to do something historic. Something historic. We're going to do this. We're going to do it right here, and we're going to do it next Monday night. What was the one you mentioned?
Bernie doesn't.
What does?
Bernie doesn't change. He's old.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, Bernie's too old. Bernie's too old. Yeah. Okay. This is my answer to that. This is what you can use this. So this is all, no copyright. This is all, please, I need you to plagiarize me. Bernie said, he was asked this in Dubuque, he was asked this very question about too old. He says, here's the thing with me. Yes, I am old. Here's what you get with somebody who's old. I have a lifetime record you can check. I have been for civil rights since I was a teenager. There's that picture of him being arrested in Chicago, where the police are trying to haul him away. He doesn't go limp like they're supposed to in a civil disobedience. He's like, they got him in each arm. And he's like, oh, let me go. I don't know if he actually talked like that as a teenager, but in my mind, I think he's always talked like that. But from there, 1972, you go online and see what he wrote about that it should not be against the law to be in love with a person of your gender. And there should be no discrimination. In 1972, do you understand the term gay? First of all, gay rights didn't exist. I don't think the term gay even existed in the general public 3 years after Stonewall. But he was talking about it then. 4 years before Roe v. Wade. He said this is wrong. The government should have nothing to say about a woman's right to choose what to do with her own body. He said this before abortion was legal. He has been alone so many times in his life. You guys mentioned back there, the voting against the war in Iraq, how alone that was when the majority of Democratic senators voted to send our sons and daughters to Iraq. Not Bernie. Bernie won't do it. Bernie's always followed himself. And when he said in the Buick last week, he said to the person who asked the question, here's what I can guarantee you. And you know this about old people. We don't change. You know for the next 8 years, what you see is what you get. And if I've told you it's going to be Medicare for all, God damn it, it's going to be Medicare for all. Yeah. If I've told you that you're not going to have to be in a debtor's prison because you want to go to college, and then you're in debt for the next 30 years, that's going to change. And you can go down the whole list of what he has said. I tell you, I know this about these two. We know this. He will be relentless about this. He will be relentless. And we are going to elect a Democratic Senate. And that Democratic Senate, we will have a Democratic House. And we're going to get some business done. And we're not going to do kumbaya for 2 years. We're going to be like, right? So that's one of the best things. You can tell people who are on the fence that there's a history here. Not a Johnny-come-lately. There's a history that he will be exactly who you think he is. He will not sell out. He cannot be bought. He will not be a politician. And he's made it very clear. He has no intention of, if he wins, of entering the Oval Office unless we come with him. We, the people. It doesn't mean just the people that voted for him. When those doors open, he's bringing in nurses. He's bringing in teachers. He's bringing in construction workers. He's bringing in the people that have been refused, the people who have had a boot on their neck simply because of their gender, of their color, or who they were in love with. Those days are over with Bernie Sanders. And this is so, just think about what that world would look like. And yes, are we going to get everything we want right away? No. But I'm telling you, we're going to get a lot more. We're going to get a lot more than has ever happened in the first couple years of an administration. That's what we're going to get with Bernie. And you can tell your friends, even if there's some things about him you're not sure of, you agree with that or don't agree with that, but wouldn't you rather have somebody in there you can completely trust? Who will not go back on his word after 4 years of this? And he's a socialist. Yeah, you know who was a socialist? This word, nobody knows what they're saying, and it's just like, it's just got to be said. I was on Sean Hannity a few years ago. I made a film called Capitalism, a Love Story. First question he says to me, he says, so, you're a socialist. I said, well, actually I'm a Christian. What do you mean by that? I said, well, I have an economic belief system that says that a rich man will have a harder time getting into heaven than a camel will have getting through the eye of the needle. I have a religious belief system that says the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I believe in a little story where the head of this group you called socialists had 2 pieces of fish and 5 loaves of bread. And there were 5,000 people he was preaching to on a hill. And they were hungry. And there wasn't nobody, somebody forgot to bring a food truck. And so he said to the person with the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, go ahead and start passing it around. Split it up. so everybody gets some. And weirdly enough, it just kept coming out of the basket. More bread and more fish so that everyone gets fed. Somebody asks you, what does this mean, democratic socialism? Focus first of all on the adjective, the democracy part. It means we have democracy in our political system. We get to vote. But we do not have democracy when it comes to our economy. You and I have no say in how this economy is run. And when you have Bernie Sanders and when you have the Democrats who don't necessarily call themselves that, but believe that we, the people, should control our own economy. We should have full democracy, not half democracy. Full democracy, that's what it is. That's what it means. It's Franklin Roosevelt. That's what it means. It's social security. It's Medicare. It's your public library. It's the fire department. Read your history on this. At the beginning of our country, they have what was called fire insurance, where the fire department, you'd have to give money to the fire department, and they would only come and put the fire out in your house if you had paid for it in advance. Otherwise, they'd let the house burn. After about a year or so of that, what they found out was if we just let that guy's house burn because he didn't get the fire insurance, it burned 3 other houses of people who paid us for the fire department. And so they said, you know what? This has to be socialized. Everybody pays taxes for it and everybody gets it. Even if your house never has a fire, you're going to pay for the fire department. Anybody here have a problem with that? Anybody here have a problem with paying for the fire department? If I tell you right now, I'll tell you right now in advance, your house will never burn down. It's not in the cards. You'd still pay for it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, if you're sitting in here, you're 70 years old, you don't have any kids in school. Why should you pay property taxes to pay for the local schools? Why should you do that? Why should you educate the young people in your community? There might, other than just because it's the right thing to do, there might be something in it for you to live in a society where you have an educated group of young people. So that's the answer to that question. That it's simply about this. This is what I'll boil it right down. What he means when he says this. Everybody deserves a seat at the table. And everybody deserves a slice of the pie. And we don't want to live in a country that doesn't believe in those two things. I refuse. As I have somebody pointed this out to me coming in here. At the end of one of my films, I said, I refuse to live in a country like this. And I'm not leaving. So we got a problem. We got a problem. Either this evil form of economics that benefits the very few at the expense of everybody else, either that has to change because I'm not going anywhere. So there's really no choice. And there's no choice for you here as Iowans this coming Monday. Please, vote your heart, vote your conscience, vote your soul, meditate on it. That's not to you. But thank you for having Ben and Jerry and Mike here. As I said at the last place, when we did our first rally for Bernie running for Congress back in 89, 90. I went to Burlington, Vermont, and Bernie couldn't get any really famous people then to come. You know, the famous people back in 89 were Crocodile Dundee and Milli Vanilli. But he got 2 guys from Vermont who make ice cream and 1 guy from Michigan who ate ice cream. And that was enough, and he got elected to Congress. Thank you, everybody here in Fairfield for coming. Let's meet for